Hello, I'm Flora speaking out for the sixth time, and thank you very much for coming to share my thoughts. Yes, I'm thinking about the century, the 1900s, in which I was born, and which some of you listening to me, some of you were born in the 1900s also, some early on, some middle on, some late on. And how would we designate that century? Some say we call it the century of the world wars. Others might say, no, it's better to define it as the nuclear century, or the century of the big breakthrough on civil rights. All of these, of course, are true. But also, what's standing out for me particularly is the 1900s, the century of incredible, breathtaking medical breakthroughs. When I was born in 1928, there were no antibiotics. When I was born in 1928, a cancer diagnosis usually was a death sentence, like diabetes. Tuberculosis could wipe out one's life, could wipe out a whole family. In my own lifetime, I've seen these incredible changes. I remember back when I was about 3, my father nearly losing his leg due to blood poisoning, no penicillin. My older sister nearly dying of a ruptured appendix, no antibiotic. My youngest sister definitely would have died of thyroid diffuse cancer if that very year there hadn't been the breakthrough in the radioactive iodine treatment. Miracles in my lifetime. I'm thinking now especially of vaccinations. We could even call it the century of the vaccinations, because when I was born in 1928, the only ones they had really were smallpox and diphtheria, and those were incredible life changers. I remember 6 years old, lying in a 3rd-story attic isolated room with red measles. 2 weeks of fever, inflamed, burning eyes, skin burning and itching to the point where I just wanted to get out of my skin, terrible headaches, and a big orange, black, white sign on the front door saying quarantine. That was a typical sign all over town. But I was very lucky. I didn't go blind. I didn't go deaf. My immune system wasn't enfeebled for years. And I didn't die like 2 distant cousins of mine, brother and sister, only children of their family, who died within a month of each other of the pneumonia that's so often the killer in measles. Measles was a killer. And measles is coming back. It's hit 4 states already. Almost, last I heard, 900 new cases. Those childhood diseases, they weren't always childhood. I got chicken pox, mumps, and German measles, they call it, rubella, all in my 20s, dangerously late. Chicken pox can inflame the brain. Mumps for a man can destroy his reproductive ability. Oh yes, of course, chicken pox also keeps you vulnerable to shingles the rest of your life. And of course, German measles, rubella, can destroy the brain of your unborn baby if you're pregnant. We did not have the vaccines. I was lucky that I didn't get polio. So many thousands of children did. 500,000 children worldwide were ill and disabled, killed, and iron lungs for life with polio. You saw a bit of what it's like when whole communities have to be closed down with COVID, of course. Well, think of that every single summer when polio would hit town. Swimming pools, youth clubs, libraries, all those things, theaters closed down for maybe weeks on end, and parents holding their breath. I think my younger sister did get the polio. She was ill one day, not really ill, little temperature, body aches, no one thought anything of it. And a week later, the little neighbor boy she'd been playing with nearly died of polio. Sometimes you would hardly know you were sick at all, or it could kill you. I'm thinking right now of one of my best friends through high school and college, who on the night she went into labor, she came down with polio. She said the agony was unbelievable in her back and legs. The baby survived. She was in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. And that was just the year before the Salk vaccine became available. What a groan of relief went around the country when the Salk vaccine was available in 1955 for the first time. Hundreds of people lined up outside the clinics to get their shots. These marvelous vaccine programs have been set back maybe for decades by people like that dangerous fool, Robert Kennedy Jr. How well I remember his wise, intelligent father. He went around with misinformation, saying vaccines were dangerous, based on no evidence whatever. This past week, he's been up before Congress answering questions about what he's doing with the health department, of which he's secretary in Trump's insane cabinet. He was saying in this question period, people really shouldn't be asking me my advice about medical matters. This said after decades of terrifying, credulous people about vaccination. Since he's been secretary in the Health and Human Services, not only has he been casting serious doubts on vaccine, which he will allow now, but of course he feels vitamins are probably a much better answer. He's eliminated more than 10,000 employees in his department, working on infectious diseases, how to prevent them. He has eliminated 28 agencies in his department, working on preventing the spread of disease. The government is now also cutting millions of dollars from health programs, research programs. Many of those in universities. Harvard University, for example, has been working on research for Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. All that funding has been almost eliminated because these universities won't obey the federal demands. We want to decide who you employ as faculty. We want to decide who you accept as students. One more picture I want to draw for you. Going back 100 years ago, 101 years ago to 1924, 4 years before I was born. My mother told me about it in a way I can picture it. I see her still, I can imagine her walking the halls of the hospital. In one ward was her 4-month-old baby daughter, my older sister, dying, the doctor said, of whooping cough. No vaccination for whooping cough. Her husband in another ward, dying of meningitis. No vaccination back then for meningitis. Her baby daughter pulled through, her husband did not. Do we want to let our government take us back to these dark ages? I ask myself that question every day when I turn in the news and seeing what's happening to health research. People sometimes ask me, am I sorry to be alive when I see these amazing breakthroughs, amazing in my lifetime of health services? Do I regret living to the age where I see them endangered? And I answer, no, I feel very differently. I am excited and honored and challenged to be alive, so I can witness to you how it used to be before the incredible, breathtaking advances during my lifetime. Witness to you and push back in my own way, as you are doing in your own way. Thank you so much for sharing, and see you next week.